Man, I'm about to cuck myself double over.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, hey folks, I am the Mighty Plantain, and I'm about to explain to Bouch here why I'm a double cuck today. I've got a Budweiser product. Their copper lager.
Which Budweiser, we know how it is, and everybody knows how it is.
And I try not to give Anheuser-Busch any money if I can avoid it.
Right.
But sometimes I do. But it's aged on real Jim Beam bourbon barrel staves. So the unofficial Jim Beam boycott is still in place. And this is basically me buying a product that's giving money to two different companies that I'm trying not to.
Right.
I've bitched about Jim Beam before, and everybody knows why. Let's talk about the Split Rock. No, Split Rock's the one that's still White Rock Distilling here in Maine. Jim Beam of America came in, bought them out because they wanted the Pinnacle Vodka brand.
Yep.
Treated them like family, according to the people who worked there. Brought them on board, gave them their full benefits package, everything else.
Yep.
2 months later, shut down, and production was sent out of state. So, fuck Jim Beam for pulling that shit and putting those people out of work.
Yep.
Anyway, but I know this is a popular product, trying to bring up subscriber numbers and everything else for the channel, get some views, so we are going to go ahead and review the Budweiser Copper Lager, aged
and
on
we've
Jim
had
Beam
a few
bourbon
others.
barrel staves. Yes. Like I said,
we've had a few others from Budweiser that we know have come out and they've actually worked pretty good.
yes.
And
I have to admit, as much as I try not to give Anheuser-Busch my money because of their business practices, they are putting out some better beers these days. I will say that.
By trying to actually improve on their craft.
Yes. That's a tricky phrase.
True.
Improve on their craft. They've kind of perfected their craft because they can make the same product consistently in huge quantities. What they're trying to do is they're trying to edge into the craft beer crowd by experimenting.
Right.
And I'll give them credit for that.
I bet you they have taken a few from ones that were kind of just trying to get away from Budweiser a little bit, but now they've kind of come back because of the specialty stuff that they're getting into.
And they have acquired some other breweries, and they still produce under that label.
Right.
So,
and really
stuff out there.
Well, yeah, like what? Shock Top is one of them?
Shock Top's one of them.
Actually,
Red Hook has partnered with Anheuser-Busch for distribution.
I think they also do some of the...
has a 51% controlling interest in the company, so...
They also do some of the malt liquors that they've done with Bacardi.
Yeah.
The Bacardi...
But is that them owning it, or the label and the brand, or is it a partial ownership, or is it just contract
I think
brewing?
It's partial. Or it could be a contract brewing, too, because I saw that up in, where was it, New Hampshire.
Yeah, yeah. This is just like contract brewing.
Yeah, that could be, too, but...
Yeah.
But still, I mean, they are trying to improve on their craft brewing side of beer making. And who knows?
Yeah. They've put out some good stuff. The
like
red
the
lager. Yeah, the bottles are awesome. I love the shape of these bottles.
Yeah.
But yeah, the red lager and the amber lager that they did recently, especially the Freedom Reserve, the better than their typical offerings. So, high hopes for this. I'm just going to bitch about it the whole time. But I'll try to put that to rest now. I've said my piece, and you guys are probably sick of fucking listening to it. I know Bouch is.
It does have a copper color to it.
It's definitely copper. Look at that. And yes, I hate that I love the shape of the bottle so much because those bad boys fit in your hand so perfectly. But yeah, look at that. That is a beautiful beer.
It actually is. Really, it looks nice.
It's got a nice copper color to it. And,
I mean, it's not like...
the red end of copper, but still.
Right. It's still... The way you're holding it right there, it looks copper down in there.
Yeah. That's very effervescent.
And it looks darker red when it gets up here.
Yeah, where the beer's thicker.
Yeah.
So it gives it some character, but there's a lot of bubbles coming up through there, so
Yep.
that's kind of nice.
And if you also notice, we do use
The
Sam Adams pint glasses.
Yes, I did have to track some of these down. You're lucky. You're getting my wife's Red Sox one.
Yeah, the Red Sox. Yay.
By the time this gets posted, they'll probably have won the World Series this year.
Well, it could be.
Well, they got potential. They're in good shape.
Yeah,
to
definitely,
do it.
they got a better bullpen than the Dodgers do.
Is that who they're up against?
It will be after tonight.
Okay. It's got an interesting aroma.
You can smell the little bit of the Jim Beam in it.
A hint. I'm getting a little bit of sulfurous smell
Yes.
to it too, though. I'm not sure where that's coming from, but hint of sulfur. But yeah, I am getting that Jim Beam bourbon aroma too. But overall, mostly just a beery.
Yeah, it does have that beer. It doesn't really
Surprisingly
really
enough,
it
it
doesn't.
smells like beer.
It doesn't smell like regular Budweiser or Bud Light, but
No,
it definitely has a different.
regular
scent to
Budweiser
it.
and Bud Light has a slightly off-putting aroma to me, and I don't
Right,
mind
and that's
this
why
at all.
sometimes people will say it's a skunky beer, which is because it has that type of.
It's got the stale beer smell. Like if you walk into a beer store with a concrete floor,
Yeah, and that's what.
and you know there's
But this doesn't
years and
smell
years
like
worth
that.
of spills soaked into that concrete. It's the same smell I get from an old Budweiser bottle. So, but yeah, this is way more pleasant.
Yes, and really, to me, it's a lot better to look at.
It's a beautiful beer. It's definitely Budweiser. Definitely Budweiser, but it's got a bit more malt character to it. It's got some caramel flavor to go along with that color. And then there's a hint of bourbon and some toasty, woody notes in the finish.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, when you actually mention bourbon, I don't really think of Jim Beam as bourbon,
Yeah.
mainly because it's really it's the rival of Jack Daniels, which is actually a whiskey. It's not a bourbon,
Really?
but they and you can tell that they don't have the same type of flavors. And I mean, I know bourbon is supposed to be a different flavor but it's all categorized as whiskey.
Yeah.
But you can say the same thing for Scotch.
Yeah. Scotch whiskey.
Scotch whiskey, but I mean, over in Scotland they call it whiskey.
Exactly.
They just call it plain whiskey. They don't call it Scotch.
On a technical level, the only difference between a bourbon and a whiskey, because they're both made the same way, is that bourbon
the
is made
place
in
there.
Bourbon County. Yeah.
Right.
So, honestly, any whiskey can be a bourbon, and any
Any
bourbon
bourbon
can
could
be
be
a
a
whiskey. And all bourbons are.
But they
whiskey.
do have a different flavor. That's for sure. Even though they are made pretty much the same way.
Exactly. Bourbon does tend to have a distinct, different flavor. And it is close to whiskey, but it's a little bit heavier. It's got, I don't know, it's hard to describe, but you know the difference between a whiskey and a bourbon after you've
Yeah.
had a few of them.
Yep. Yep. But maybe really the only bourbon that I've really had is the Knob Creek in it, and I've never really tasted Jim Beam out of a drink.
Yeah, it's always been mixed.
Right, it's always been mixed. So if I know that Knob Creek is actually kind of harsh,
But it's a good kind of.
but it is a good harsh.
Yeah, and I can tell you that the Jim Beam, their basic is good. Yes, I know. Unofficial Jim Beam boycott is in full effect, but I will
still.
try their new stuff. Marley's Ghost. No, wait, was it Marley's Ghost? I think Marley's Ghost was the Angel's Share one. And, oh no, Marley's Ghost was just a clear white whiskey.
Yeah.
That's only kissed the inside of a barrel. That was interesting. And Devil's Cup was fucking awesome. I had to try it because it's of the way they made it.
Yeah.
But
The Red Stag was actually pretty good. I had that in a drink, in a mix,
Stag's
what was it, a whiskey sour,
Yeah,
and that actually was pretty decent.
absolutely. I think we're trying to avoid talking about the beer though.
But no, I'm trying to
tangents,
get I'm trying to actually get the bourbon. I'm trying to pick out the bourbon flavor in this.
Oh,
and
I know.
I'm getting a little bit of it.
Yeah, it's like subtle in the finish.
Right, and it's really it's almost more like a whiskey anyway that I'm kind of tasting, not really a bourbon, but
yeah. And I am getting some toasty notes from the wood itself, a little bit of woodiness. But like I said, I think we keep getting off on tangents because for me, honestly, I don't want to admit how much I actually
Enjoy
like this beer.
and actually, I am going to give this a 4.
Wow, high marks.
Only because it is different, especially from these guys,
Budweiser, yep.
and it doesn't really remind me of any other flavor that they have.
No, it is definitely different from any other Budweiser beer that's been made before.
Yes.
I think I'm sitting at a 3.5 out of 5. Now, I say this probably at least once per video. 3.5 is pretty damn good.
It's a little bit above, yeah.
2.5 is average on a scale of 1 to 5. So for me to give a Budweiser product, especially one with Jim Beam collaboration, a 3.5, that's pretty damn good, folks. It's a good beer.
This is actually pretty easy drinking.
Mm-hmm.
When it's good and cold.
And right now it's on special for
actually.
$10 a 6-pack. So,
yeah.
You know, in terms of thugonomics, it's not a bad choice.
How much?
$9.95 per 6-pack plus tax and deposit. I mean, you compare that to some of the other stuff we buy when it comes to craft.
Right.
If you're looking to cut into your budget,
well, if you get you get the Sam Adams Oktoberfest, which is out right now. It's
$16.99 for a 12-pack.
12-pack, right?
Yeah.
And it's $10.99 right now for a 6-pack. So.
Yeah. So local prices, folks.
Yes.
It's not necessarily going to be the same all over the country, but you know, it's a good option.
Yep.
Better than Budweiser.
Yep. Much better than Budweiser.
But, you know, that's just a couple of opinions on it from us. Make sure to hit us up down in the comments, the email link down below. Love to hear what you have to say about the beer yourself. While you're down there, make sure to like and share the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Till next time, folks, I am Double Cucked. Thanks for tuning in, and cheers.
Keep drinking.
Not bad. Now, you did get the cuck reference, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. It's a shortened form of cuckold, which used to have very, very specific use and would be related exactly to the original meaning of the original definition of the word, but these days it basically means anytime you fuck yourself over and make yourself voluntarily put yourself in a weakened or compromised position. Anyway, just figured I'd outline that because I'm probably going to add it into the video for those who don't understand the reference. I think
so. He just did it.
Yeah, yeah, because I think, I don't know, maybe the majority of our viewers will get it, but I have a feeling a handful won't. So, all right, that's enough of that.